Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Doss here, and welcome to this series of videos that I'm debuting here for the week leading up to the 10th anniversary party of Dead by Daylight. I thought it would be nice to have a series of interviews with a set of creators that I feel are kind of like the cornerstones of the community and what has kind of made Dead by Daylight what it is today. I tried to get as many creators that I felt fit the bill, but unfortunately, some of them weren't responding, some of them were busy, and some of them just weren't able to do it in general. But for today, we've got the lovely Hens joining for this interview. I've got a couple more after this, so be on the lookout for that. But I asked Hens some general and some specific questions for him, and so I hope you all enjoy. Hello, everyone. Welcome in, welcome in. I have a lovely guest for this special video. I have the one and only Hens here. If you'd go ahead and say hi to the audience for me, Hens.
Hello, I'm Hens. I do the content.
Yep. Hens was graciously willing to take part in this video for me, and I greatly appreciate it. I have some questions here that I want to ask. The whole focus of this video, really, for yourself and the audience to know, is with the 10-year anniversary of Dead by Daylight coming, I wanted to sit down with a couple creators who, in my opinion, are the cornerstones of the community and have really built Dead by Daylight to what it is today. People that I think that are kind of the most important creators for the game in general. So I want to start off with a question for you here of what drew you to the game? What led you to check out, at the time, the small game known as Dead by Daylight?
That was actually, I got the game gifted to me by a friend because we had a friend group. We were playing every weekend different games, and we were bored of the game we were playing at the time. And then we just started playing Dead by Daylight. He actually gifted it to me, but he was kind of already burned out of the game. He had like a few hundred hours. And yeah, by the time he didn't want to play, I was still playing, and then I was stuck in solo queue.
That seems to always be the case, though. Just completely stuck in solo queue until you find your group again. A follow-up question I have for that then is what keeps you into Dead by Daylight? What leads you and what drives you to boot up Dead by Daylight every week and to continue on for how many years you've been playing?
Yeah, that's actually a good question. In my opinion, I think there's a lot of diversity in like each individual match. Because there are a lot of things that are different in every match, and I think that's probably one of the reasons why I can play it for so many hours. And I still truly have fun with the game. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to put in that many hours, I think.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. It's kind of a perfect segue to another question I had is how do you keep yourself from experiencing burnout, whether it's with the creator side of burnout or just burnout with Dead by Daylight? Are there things you do with your content creation to keep things fresh, things you do for your gameplay?
So what I've noticed helped me personally is to create virtual goals, and that can be like very arbitrary. But if I just play to play, then that can get boring very quickly. But if there's some kind of challenge or anything of the sort, I always jump on that, and that's what keeps me engaged, more or less.
Yeah, that makes sense. There's always has to be a balance, and I feel like a goal is very important in anything you do. So I completely agree with you with that. So as far as I'm aware, you started at least posting content on YouTube for Dead by Daylight back in 2021. How long before you were posting were you playing the game?
I started in 2018. I think the first killer that ever released that I witnessed was Clown, which was, I think, at the end of 2018. And yeah, the first few years I mostly played solo queue, and then actually I became friends with some streamers, and they kind of convinced me to try content creation. That's how I arrived there.
Yeah, so that's crazy to think that myself and a couple others outdate you in Dead by Daylight. I know a lot of people would probably assume that you've been there from the start, but I guess that wasn't the case, huh? And no, I noticed your first video on your YouTube channel was a video of you playing against Ots. How did that exactly come about?
Wow, that's interesting question. So Ots actually is the one that convinced me to start streaming in the first place. And he's also, because I used to be friends with Ots, and we used to play literally every night Survivor together. And I was not a streamer back then. I had nothing to do with content creation. But like everyone else I was hanging out with at that time was a content creator. I was a little bit of the oddball out that had nothing to do with them. And yeah, he convinced me to try. And with YouTube, it's literally the same thing. Because back in 2021, Odds did a thing where he helped content creators who asked for advice, and he made like 100 videos where he looked at people's channels and he gave them advice. And I was one of them. And for the advice that he gave me was to start YouTube. And yes, so that's how that came to be. And that was like the first opportunity, was completely unrelated, but I was playing in, which is actually pretty funny. That was the first showcases actually. I was involved in every single one, but at the beginning I was only the survivor. And nowadays I had one like literally yesterday where I made one. So that genre still exists. But at the beginning I was just like a survivor, and then yeah, I just posted that video because why not?
Yeah, I believe yesterday at the time of filming this, you did the worst showcase, the Skull Merchant
Yeah.
and who's the other killer? Skull Merchant and
Skull Merchant, Ghostface, and
Ghostface.
Trapper.
Yes, that's right. I tuned into your stream for a bit there before I had to depart to deal with some things, but it seemed like it went well, and it was a lot of fun. A lot of people enjoyed it. But
Yeah, well, it was a good time. So the format is still alive, but that's funny actually. That started my YouTube channel. I didn't even realize that.
yeah,
It did.
I guess like Ots did give you like the right advice to just start posting and make a YouTube channel, because look at you now. You're probably one of the most well-known creators in the Dead by Daylight like sphere.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. It's like he told me to start Twitch, and then like a few years later, YouTube. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, look at that. I mean, yeah, you're an iridescent partner of creator. Use code Hens. You know, like you're kind of like you've made it in that sphere, and like it's good to know that your friends and stuff have supported you and helped you throughout the way. Yeah, moving on from that, in my opinion, you typically are primarily a more competitive focused creator. What about Dead by Daylight's comp scene has enraptured you? What makes you like so interested to make content on it?
To be honest, so I got into comp simply by like, that's what I did in other games too. When I get really invested into a game, I love seeing what the best players do. Always. I did that in every game that I followed. And Dead by Daylight, if the other games I played are all a lot more competitive than Dead by Daylight is. So that might be a little bit of a hint. Yeah, I started checking out the comp scene somewhere in like 2019, I think. That was so small back then, like 100 viewers, the biggest tournaments. That was like almost didn't exist, but I just wanted to know, how did the best players come to be and how they play. Actually, I mean, I started playing a little bit of smaller, like one small tournament like 2020, I think. That was mostly like with content creator and stuff. But like that slowly came to be. I became friends with some comp players. Oh, I mean, that's quite the journey, honestly. Like I used to like 1v1 people quite a lot, the comp players, like in 2021. And I'm kind of over that now. But yeah, at one point I started hosting my own tourneys because I was like fed up. Why do every tourney organizers do it like that? And I wanted it to be different. And then yeah, it's quite a long story, but yeah, I'm always like a little bit more competitively driven. Honestly, if I just play DBD like that though, I don't think I'm like crazy competitive. I do want to play relatively well, but I'm not like crazy invested in the outcomes of every single game.
Yeah, I feel like that's important for just playing Dead by Daylight in general. You want to have fun, but you also want to do your best, but you shouldn't be focusing on winning every single game. So I completely understand.
Yeah, there's nothing on the line essentially. There's no rank here. There's no elo lost or whatever you want to call it. So like, there's no big reason to care. So that's also one of the reasons why I love doing challenges, because like, even if it's just artificial, like losing a streak or whatever, it kind of puts a little bit more stakes on the games, which I kind of enjoy, and what I kind of need to have fun in the game. But I don't want to sidetrack too much.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's a great segue to another question I have. Like, you've obviously have done a ton of these challenges and streaks and stuff like that for your content. Has there been one specifically that stands out to you the most, one that was your favorite, whether because of outcomes or events that happened during it?
Oh, I think the first streak I ever did, the first streak with every killer that I ever completed, was the all park streak. There's also Odstava started that back in the day. There were a lot of references back to him, but yeah, that was the first one I ever did where I won with every killer in a row. Back then there were like not that many killers, but that still, I don't know, that felt like an accomplishment in itself to have like a consecutive win on every killer. Nowadays I did that quite a few times, so it's not as amazing anymore, but yeah, that's a fond memory.
I mean, to someone like myself who would stress way too much. I still think that's a pretty big feat. I will say the current streak that you guys in the sphere has been doing seems the most interesting to me. I might even check that out myself because I like the checkpoints type of thing. Trying to do it all in a row is way too stressful for me personally.
Yeah, the killer gauntlet, right? Yeah, that's also a cool streak. I like that one.
Yeah. You had mentioned like not loss of elo and stuff like that. I wanted to ask, looking back when MMR was released, it seemed like the player base viewed it as overwhelmingly negative. But what was your initial thoughts and reaction when DBD introduced MMR? And now that's in place, how does it seem now? Do you think it's been healthy for the game?
I mean, today's MMR is vastly different to the one that released back in 2021. It's like vastly different. I think people who didn't play like back then and didn't have a lot of hours probably can't understand it and probably don't have the lessons to be learned. So when MMR came out, I thought this is the game that I want, because I was like a little bit like frustrated with like solo queue teammates that don't know what to do, and like it felt like a little bit bad if there's a really good killer and your teammates don't really know what to do. Because I've always liked solo queue. It's like the random factor of solo queue gave me a lot of enjoyment, but that always felt a little bit bittersweet if the teammates were not that good. So when MMR released, I first thought I'm in the dreamland. I looked at everyone's Steam profiles and everyone had 3k hours plus. There was nobody that I played with that didn't have at least 3k hours, but that had big problems and became boring real fast for a couple of reasons. So first, there were like really strong medkits back then. There were map offerings. There were things you could crutch on an absurd amount. Were there still Moris in the game? I'm not really sure if
the MMR came out in 2021, so I don't believe there was the original Mori system.
Okay.
I think it was still like you had to get the final hook at that time.
Fair. Okay, fair. But what I wanted to get at is like there was a lot of high tier killers, and you effectively, what happened was you saw the same 5 pucks on Survivor and you played against the same 3 killers over and over and over again, and that got pretty old pretty fast, because what I said in the beginning was like Dabadare kind of lives off its variety, and every match feeling like a little bit different enough that you want to queue again, for me at least, and like spend an absurd amount of time on the game. And yeah, what I thought was going to be amazing did not turn out to be that good because of the lack of variety. So nowadays MMR is vastly tuned back, so now you actually see like a variety of killers again, which means it kind of doesn't really work that well on the high level, but that might, like, the way the game is right now, that is almost a necessary evil, because the killers are just not, like, they're not equally strong to support such a system.
Yeah, I agree with you. I remember back when MMR first came out, I was playing killer. I was way more of a killer main back then, and it was rough going against decisive, dead hard, every game. So when it first came out, I personally hated it. And then over the years, it's definitely mellowed out. And like, you're completely right. Every killer has their own powers and their own quirks to it, and you can't balance it perfectly for every single one. So I definitely agree with you.
To be honest, that's when the dead hard hate became like absurdly right, because like you played against it every single game, every survivor had it, and like they just became good at using it, and it was like, it felt pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean,
especially
the fact
on the lower tiers.
Oh yeah, the fact someone like me, like I'd say like maybe like an above average player, like was able to loop somebody for the entire game because of dead hard, literally, like it kind of like shows like how much people learned how to use their perks and stuff at the time. But moving on from that, it seems like the relationship between the devs and creators has improved exponentially over the last couple of years, but do you think it'll continue that way?
The relationship?
Yes. So like how currently, like, there seems to be a lot more of a push to have like more of like a conversation between creators, whether it's what is it called, the consultants, stuff along those lines. It seems like they're listening a lot more. In the consultant program, there are a few creators, but the majority of them are non-creators. And I think I probably don't think they will ever probably even get creators in there, because like there's a little bit of a conflict of interest. Obviously, like, creators play like the game a lot, so they seem very natural, but yeah, there's a little bit of overlap there. And the majority are actually non-creators that are also higher hour players, but they don't do content. But to circle back to your question, yeah, I think the communication has gotten a lot better with the creator program, which also is cool for the people in it, because they actually can talk to someone from BHVR. Because like BHVR is this entity that
like is so far away, and that makes it a little bit more real to actually have someone to maybe give something to. So I think for the creators, it's probably a good step in the right direction, but of course you can't like reach every department of the developers via that route.
Yeah, 100%. It is, as somebody in the creator program myself, it is really nice to be able to message someone from behavior asking questions or offering maybe like like maybe something to be included in the future. It's really nice of like trying to speak into the void. So I definitely agree. This next question is a bit for myself. As an extremely avid FNAF fan myself, I'm someone who's been with the franchise since 2014. Seeing someone get into the franchise in 2025, like over 10 years after the original game, and playing 90% of the games was extremely great for me to see. So I wanted to know, how was that experience for you going headfirst into an extremely passionate and dedicated community?
To be honest, when I started the first one, I was like, okay, I'm gonna try it. Like I did not know that I'm gonna like it. I was convinced that I would not like it because like when I got into FNAF, I was like under the impression it's a kids game. And I was like, haha, this is probably gonna be like goofy and like but yeah, I mean it was very atmospheric. I didn't expect that. Like the entire like nature of it like caught me, and there was so much to explore, like so many stories and so many videos to watch. That's honestly the first time in ages that I actually like found something I've like vast interest in, but I could fully explore. That was awesome. Honestly, I'm still looking forward to like Jar of Creation, which is gonna come out this year. Like maybe there's gonna be another game. I mean, like, yeah, it's cool. I actually met like a lot of the FNAF YouTubers too. That's like so cool. I actually there's a Roblox game. There's a little bit DBD FNAF.
Yeah, Bite
and
by
I had
Night.
an idea. Yeah, Bite by Night, and I want to play that with Spiff. Actually, I don't know if you know Spiff.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I
I don't know
definitely
if
do.
I don't know if our schedules will align, but like, yeah, I love all the people in the FNAF community. It's so cool to see. There's so much positivity there.
I mean, that would be so amazing to see. And yeah, I've literally been with it since 2014, since the start. I mean, for me, FNAF was my dream chapter. I literally cried when it got announced. It
cool.
means a lot to me for very personal reasons. And like, I always want more people to try it out and see how it is. And seeing you play through almost the entirety of the library was just so great to see. Obviously, there is silly stuff as well, like FNAF World and the like Freddy in space and stuff like that. But like the mainline games have always been way more atmospheric and have a lot of lore, confusing lore, but a lot of stuff. And just seeing you watch it was really enjoyable. Me and my friend binged all your videos for it. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's great. Honestly, that's like this is like being able to like delete DBD and like experiencing it again. I don't know if DBD is even like on the same level as FNAF, probably not. But that was great, yeah. Like as a first time experience, I know I missed out on that for so long, but I was never like on the Let's Play thing because that's where a lot of people got into it, I think. With, like a Markiplier and stuff. I never was like someone to watch Let's Plays. But yeah, I'm honestly super hyped. Maybe we get a second chapter. I really do hope so.
I hope so too. I'd love to get the Mimic or something. But
yeah, the Mimic would be insane, yeah.
A follow-up to that would be which entry in the FNAF franchise was your favorite when you played through it?
So there's like the cool thing about the FNAF games is like you can all like them for different reasons. To be honest, I liked 4 because it was so jump scary.
I mean, that's where your iconic clip comes from.
Yeah, everything is chill so far. Okay. That was not very chill of him. That was not chill at all. Yeah. Yeah, that was just like that game, I don't know. Like those FNAF 3 had like cool gameplay. FNAF 2 was really challenging, but a little bit RNG. And FNAF 1 is where all of it started. Yeah. Also, I mean, to be honest, it's like hard to choose. If I would have to choose, Sister Location was also good. I think I'm gonna say FNAF 4, but I honestly liked all of them for different reasons.
That is wonderful to hear personally, and I can agree. Yeah, it is really hard to pick a favorite. Mine is 3, but I do love 4 as well. 4 was.
Wait, you're the outlier then.
Yeah.
Like, 3 is like the only one where I solo played like all the hard modes without like looking anything up or anything.
Yeah,
I didn't even stream that. I just did that because I wanted to.
I think the reason why I personally like it so much is like the lore for it and having William Afton's Springtrap in it and having that. It was like one of the bigger lore dumps, and
Yeah,
I love lore in general for stuff, so that's why it was my
yeah.
favorite. But moving on from FNAF, I so this next question is a specific one for my chat, and I thought, why not? It's a bit funny. They wanted me to ask you specifically if you're sad that hope isn't more than 6% anymore.
I mean, diminishing returns is out now. Oh, I'll be honest. I think there's a merit to nothing hope. I could see it because like it like hard countered specific killers. Like the 110 killers barely catch up to a 107 survivor because you can effectively run around a small object because your hitbox is smaller. The killer will effectively never catch up until Bloodlust, which is a little bit goofy. Diminishing returns is gone now. Maybe it can't go back up. Honestly, what I liked the most was the first version of Hope that had a timer. That sounds really crazy. But back then, nobody was used to playing against haste because haste as a mechanic just almost never happened in natural gameplay. And like back then, you could like fool killers so easily, they would not understand that you have haste and you could just loop them for 2 minutes and then run out. But yeah, well, I would not be... I would not hate if it gets rebuffed, but I'm also not crazy hopeful that it will ever go back.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I loved Hope, and when it got nerfed, I was a little bit gutted, but I mean, it is for the betterment of the game. Like, as you said, haste against killers is extremely strong.
Yeah, like these perks that create outliers where certain killers have like 0 chance, they're always a little bit iffy, to be honest. I'm never a big fan of them. And Hope, sadly. I mean, I love Hope. Like, I absolutely love the perk, but like, it's sadly one of those.
Yeah, I think that's a good transition to this next question of for you personally, if you had the ability to, what changes would you make to Dead by Daylight to improve in your opinion? Whether it's removing a perk or perks in general or even mechanics.
I was always of the opinion the low tiers have to be buffed. I've never had a different opinion. Like nerf the high tier killers a little bit and buff the lower tiers, and I still to some degree believe that's the best thing because like the closer you bring them together, the easier DBD is to balance, in my opinion. Yeah, I would buff Trapper, I would buff Ghostface quite severely. Like some of the palette density changes seem pretty bad, I won't lie. Like there are maps that feel like really bad to play, like Shattered Square, for example, has so many palettes now.
Don't even get me started on that map. I hate that map so much.
Yeah, these were the kind of things that if I had like full control, I was the CEO, I'll probably like try to like level things out as much as possible. And like also like stuff like Deli, Shoulder, these kind of things I also think are not that good for the game.
Yeah, you'd want to make that bell curve a bit smaller. You wouldn't want it to be as disparaging of a distance as it currently is.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. And then the second last question I have here. With the amount of IPs and collaborations Dead by Daylight has brought into the fog, there have been a few that have caused you to look into the original IPs. Like I believe on stream you said that you had watched the first Friday movie with this chapter coming in, and you obviously played through FNAF. Yeah. But what other IPs have piqued your interest outside of Dead by Daylight?
To be honest, as I said earlier, okay, this is like people look at me for that and call me a fraud. I'm not a horror enjoyer like per se. I do enjoy horror, but I did not get into Dead by Daylight because of the horror aspect. I was like, haha, I'm gonna play with friends. This game seems cool. That's how I got into it. I mean, to be honest, I enjoyed a lot of the original movies. I watched Hellraiser. There's not too long ago. The original Texas Chainsaw movie was pretty cool. I mean, I think I watched all the classics now. The Freddy one, like almost everything. The Sadako one. I think at this point I watched everything. I became a little bit of a horror enjoyer, but that was more through Dead by Daylight than like the other way around. And honestly, the movies I really enjoyed were like the Sadako one. The Japanese one was really good.
Ringu.
The Hellraiser one made me appreciate the power a lot more because like it feels really, really lore accurate and to the point of the character, which made me appreciate him a little bit more. Sadly, he's gone now.
Yeah, rest in peace. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I honestly enjoyed all the classics from the big movies that are on DVD.
That's great to hear. I mean, I've always been of the opinion that if anything can get somebody into a genre, I think that's a win. Like I know there's plenty of people that are even like quote unquote worse than you that have never watched anything horror in their life, but they still play it, enjoy it. For me, I've been a horror fan for quite a while, and seeing Dead by Daylight, I was interested of it in the beta, and when they added Michael Myers, that basically just locked it in for me. But yeah, I mean, for me personally, I wouldn't call someone a fraud for not having watched or take part in the original ones. But besides that, I have my final question for you, Hens. What are your hopes and dreams for Dead by Daylight and yourself for the future, for the next 10 years?
Oh, for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
So that's a question I get asked quite a lot. Like, how much time does Dead by Daylight have left? To be honest, I mean, the community always has like a little bit of a negative outlook, and I can understand where that's coming from. The game always has like some game health issues and there are bugs and everything. Overall, I do see the direction as positive, but it also has to be said, like, especially now with Jason coming to the game, there are not that crazy many really big ones left, right? Like FNAF has been collected, Jason's Resident Evil is in the game. Sure, we can do second and third editions, but yeah, that's gonna run out. So at some point, they're gonna have to reinvent itself. But I think DVD definitely has like 5 years left. And as long, I mean, I'm enjoying the game. I think if I would stop enjoying the game, then I would at least not stream it anymore. But I thoroughly enjoy booting up Dead by Daylight, which sounds crazy to people because I have like 14,000 hours in the game. But yeah, I hope that never leaves me. I still have fun with the game, and I hope that stays that way for a long time.
Yeah, I hope so too. But that's gonna be it for this interview with Hens. If you want to go ahead and give any shout outs to like your stream, your social medias, go ahead, Hens.
I stream. I'm Hens on Twitch, and I also do YouTube videos. And I think I'm also called, no, it's Hens333 there still.
Yeah, you haven't changed it. You've just got that change on Twitch. You got to change on your other platforms now.
Maybe I can get it one day. But thank you so much for those were some lovely questions, some throwbacks.
Yeah, that's what this was all about. But yeah, thank you so much. And that's going to do it with our interview with Hens. I really appreciate him for giving me his time to ask me these questions and to be a part of this little project I had for the 10-year anniversary. Be on the lookout for the next video. The next video is going to be with the one and only Asimovs, one of the lore guys for Dead by Daylight. I had a lot of fun talking with him, so be on the lookout for that. But for anyone who's new around here, I make Dead by Daylight content whenever there's new information and new stuff to talk about. So why don't you hit that subscribe button? I'd love to have you here. Hit that like button, hit that bell so you get notified whenever a new video goes live. But as always, hope you all have a good morning, afternoon, and evening. Goodbye, everyone.